What's going on, Junkies? It's your boy Kenshiro. We're back with another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. Today we're going to talk about some of our favorite B movies. I was perusing a list on IMDb of the top 100 B movie films and kind of got me thinking what some of all of your favorite B movie films, as long as some of ours. We're also going to talk about Comic-Con is this weekend. We're also going to talk about some of the favorite panels that we're looking forward to coming out this weekend. As well as some other stuff that's happening in the news. But first, let me introduce my good friends who are going to be on the show with me today, Mr. GQ and the great Dada Kuji. How you doing, buddies?
Yeah, doing well.
I am hanging in there. I'm glad to be back, glad to be here, glad to be off my feet.
I mean, kind of technically, you're not totally... Well, I guess you kind of are off your feet. You know, you're not standing up. So... I guess that does count as not being on your feet. But it's good to see you. So how was everybody's weekend?
Pretty good. Had some good barbecue.
Where'd you go?
Best. Our buddy Brian's.
Oh,
and
okay.
he somebody, I don't know who did it, but cooked the best garam friggin' potato. It was not potato salad, it was like cheesy potatoes. Best I ever had. Woo-hoo!
I've never really liked cheesy potatoes. Like potatoes, what do they call it? Potato au gratin? I think.
No, it wasn't like that.
Wasn't like
it
that.
Wasn't like that either. But they were definitely cheesy potatoes, and they were flipping delicious. Like cheese and potatoes go well together. I mean, you eat cheese fries. I know you do. So that means that you eat cheese with potatoes.
Man. We used to do cheese fries. GQ, remember these back in high school? The cheese fries that used to service in high school, and how bad them things was. Nah, man, I don't do cheese fries after that experience.
They weren't bad.
You might have had some bad ones, but you can't let that. You can't let that tarnish your experience with other ones. And not all cheese fries are created equal.
Well, I don't know what cheese fries you were eating. The ones that I had were good. So maybe they just didn't like you.
Maybe. All I know is that they just weren't all that great to me. Want to say what's up to Tony Young in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Our top fan always ends up checking in on the show. Sweet. Cool. So a lot of stuff has been going on in the news. I think there was a trailer that came out this weekend. No, Lion King's supposed to come out this weekend, but I can't remember. I thought there was a trailer that thought it was out. Nope, maybe that wasn't it. Maybe it was this. It was, yeah, that's it. This is what it was. So the 007, the news about Bond 25 and who's going to be starring at as 007, or the new 007 is Lashana Lynch, who we know from Captain Marvel as being I want to say what's up to Mike Riley, who's checking out the show. What's up, man? But everybody is losing their minds. They think, oh, she's replacing James Bond, she's going to be the new Bond. But they're making Jane Bond now. You're like, oh, you're gonna make Bond a black woman, I'm not going to watch it now. I'm like, okay. So the question I'm going to ask everybody out there is, has outrage culture finally reached its apex? Can it get any more ridiculous than this? Come on. If people have bothered reading the comments or reading the actual article, they see that she's not playing James Bond. And never mind the fact that had they been paying attention to the entire film series, they know that Bond had retired at the end of the last movie. So I want to hear your thoughts on, on this latest outrage scandal that's taking over. Let's start with you, GQ. You're a big Bond fan. What do you think of it?
I mean, it's the usual thing. It's people jumping the gun, reading just the headlines, not the entire article, and people just being stupid, like usual. So, I mean, again, there is a reason Thanos was right. There is a reason that you could probably get rid of 3 million people in this world. I'm sorry, 3 billion people in this world, and things would be pretty okay. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these people are a reason that I think that way and feel that way. And yeah, so hashtag Thanos is still right.
Hashtag Thanos is still right, huh? Okay. So what do you think about it, Dido? What's your take on everything? On all of this?
Well, my take is it's kind of the same thing that GQ said, except for the 3 billion people, is because if it's at random, you're still going to get some of those idiots. It's just how people are and what have you. But they are a lot of people that don't read articles. They just read I'm guilty of it, but not in the aspect of, oh my gosh, I can't, believe blah, blah, blah happened. I usually see a headline and I share it. And then it'd be like, oh, why'd you share this? If you read it, it had nothing to do with that. And I'm like, oh, okay. We're all guilty of it, regardless of what people may think. That you read the headlines because you just scrolling and you keep on scrolling. But in this case, if they read it, like you said, they know that she is taking up the moniker of 007 because 007 is a agent's code name, from my understanding. It's not just James Bond. It's whomever they feel fits that code name. And if he retired at the end of Spectre, was it that he retired? Then somebody has to fill the shoes. Somebody's going to become the new 007.
Right.
So that's what's going on. So am I upset? No. It's probably going to be like she's going to be there for a bit and be 007 and then probably going to get killed and he has to come back or some shit. Who knows? I don't know. But I can't really say.
Well,
I just know I want to see it.
Apparently, she's being tasked to go and find James Bond for a reason. So she's not going to die and he come out of retirement and avenge her. She's literally part of the movie, which is, for the purposes of them having to explain that plot point, I'm mad at them already, because they shouldn't have to explain anything just to appease these, these knuckleheaded Neanderthals that can't seem to get past their own, hyper masculinity. Because I mean, a lot of the comments ran the gamut. They were like saying, "Oh well, I don't know if I could see James Bond, or see 007." Be a woman. Is he going to sleep around with a bunch of people like James Bond does? How is that going to look? Which is basically like slut shaming, or stuff of that nature. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just, not only that, but they're saying, oh, like you said, she's probably going to die and she's not going to be a capable agent. Why is that the first assumption? Just because she's a female 00 and we've never seen one on screen.
It's unfortunate.
No, I'm asking you because that was the first thing you went to. So why is that?
Why would I think that? Is because they're putting somebody in there. They're not going to change James Bond into being a non-white Anglo, whatever have you. Being James Bond is always going to be like that. So they're not going to replace her as being James Bond, but it's just that's things that we've seen in movies in the past. Whenever somebody takes up a moniker, they're not permanently that moniker. She may be 007, but it's a temporary thing. And then the real story is, something else is going on. So that's more than likely why I thought that, because it's, just because of so much stuff I see in the movies.
So do we think that, obviously, I was being facetious when I said, has outrage culture finally reached its apex? Because, we haven't even really gone 1 week. Last week it was the Little Mermaid controversy. This week it's James Bond controversy. Next week it'll probably be something else that comes out.
It's always a controversy because we as black folk, unfortunately for me, I don't have as much melanin as you do, but I'm a black guy, regardless of how I look. All it is a what do you call it? A sunscreen, natural sunscreen. And people with the dumbass brains like to freaking categorize people based on how much sunscreen they have naturally in them. And yes, that's what it's for, because our people come from a hot-ass climate, and anybody that's in a hot-ass climate on this planet has natural sunscreen. All of them. And over years of adaptation, people left Africa and they lost their melanin. But for whatever reason, that's a problem.
So are you trying to say you're not really from Africa? Is that what you're
trying to say? I'm from America, just like you. I have, More than likely, I got a lot of people coming from all over the place, but everybody on this
Right.
planet is from Africa.
Hey man, we
Everybody.
all mutts, man. We're all
Yeah,
mutts. We're
we're
probably
all
mutts
from
or
fucking
something.
Africa.
Yeah.
Just some
Right.
people lost their melanin and other people didn't. That doesn't
Right.
make one person better than the other person, and there's nothing fucking wrong with that. And I don't understand how long it's going to take for people to get that out of their goddamn heads. It's probably going to take a long time because I just read something recently that segregation ended 55 years ago. 55 years ago, that's not that fucking long. That's like 16 years older than me. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. All right. So just with that, it's probably going to take some time before people are outraged over sunscreen, natural sunscreen.
Right. So Fallen Marvel's going to join the show eventually at some point. Hopefully, I'll get his take on the whole. Oh, right on cue. How about that? Fallen Marvel, my friend, how are you? I can't hear you. I mean, it was like literally.
All right. Okay.
That was the best lead in I could possibly get. I said, "Hey, Fallen Marvel is going to join the show at a second," and then literally you popped in.
Press the mute button by accident.
Okay. All right. No, that's cool.
So what's happening? What's happening, y'all?
So I want to get your take real quick on this on the latest outrage scandal that's out there and oh yeah, the whole 007 is a black woman thing. You know, what's your take on this, man? Come on.
Okay.
Come on, give it to us.
Well, honestly, I could really care less about the outrage about it. The thing is the 007 as a thing never really was culture centric, so anybody really could be 007. So anybody who's, I mean, look, well, not too long ago we were arguing about whether or not mermaids are black.
Just last week.
I really don't care about people like being outraged about who does and doesn't look like secret agents or whatever. I mean, look,
she's struggling.
It's irritating. It's like
it's so irritating,
dude. If you really think about it, didn't we kind of have black spies in Black Panther technically?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn who is white or black in MI6 at this? Is it MI6?
Yeah.
The nobody. Who gives a damn? Like really? I'm just. Like,
I know. I hear you, and I think part of it is I want to kind of get GQ in here too, because he's a Bond historian, a Bond aficionado, but a lot of people think that that James Bond is a code name along with 007, and that the title of 007 somehow travels with whoever ends up being James Bond. So that explains why Pierce Brosnan and Sean Connery and George Lazenby have all been James Bond as 007. Like there's some crazy conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat theory out there that says that whoever becomes 007 becomes James Bond. Can you help me understand where that even came from?
No, that was something that Dido actually had considered as a possibility while we were watching some of the movies, but Skyfall pretty much negated that possibility because he went to his actual home, his childhood home, and saw the graves of his parents whose names were Bond. So the character James Bond in all these different films is supposed to be one person, but the idea of it being a code name that is handed along with the number, that's an interesting way to look at it. But I mean, when you really get down to it, spies aren't supposed to have any hard name anyway. Not in any real sense, because I mean that's why you have knock lists, as they the first Mission Impossible movie was about them stealing a knock list or a non-official cover list, which the assumed names matching up with the real names.
Right.
So making James Bond an assumed name Yeah, that could work, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it's a pretty out there name, and then obviously he has the introduction of
Mm-hmm.
Bond, James Bond. So I mean, he's a spy that's a very unconventional spy because again, like Dido said, and I think our James Bond episode of Game way back when, he's a spy that goes in and introduces himself to everybody in the room. So it's like, what kind of real spy work are you possibly doing if you're letting everybody know that you're there? You're making a big, play about being in the room. So I mean, and again, it's because Ian Fleming was writing it, just kind of as almost an extension of his own life in a very, very over the top sort of way and all this other sort of thing. So I mean, it's like there's a lot in there that is just crazy and dare I say, off the wall wrong. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's an action movie. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be outrageous. It's supposed to be, it's James Bond. So again, if she's going to be the new 007, that's fine. I mean, I have zero problem with that because if you look at the history of the James Bond movies, we've been introduced to multiple multiple 002, 003. We've only seen 006 one time. We've known all the way up to 009. And that's it. So it's just like, and there was even one movie, and I forgot exactly which one it was, but there was a sequence where you saw all of them in a room together, like all, it was, I don't know if this is 000, 000 or whatever, but you saw, all the spies and James Bond, of course, got late, and walked in late to the party, so to speak, but they were all there. So it's like, yes, 007 is the most famous one. That's the one whose exploits we've been following all this time.
Right.
But just because they suddenly give the number to somebody else, that's life. If James Bond gets killed, they're going to replace James Bond.
And there's going to be another 007.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, it makes it's crazy.
Again, people don't like change, and that's the main thing. People usually cannot.
I mean, I'm sure there's a little tinge of racism at play as well.
There probably is, but I mean, I look at it this way. Yes, there probably is, but at the same time, because here's the thing: it's a combination. It's not only did they replace him with a black person, they replaced him with a black woman. So now
there's misogyny in there too. Yeah.
For a lot of people, a black woman is the most deadly thing ever because it's like not only is it a minority, but they're also a female. So you got a double whammy hitting you in the face. But it's like, dude, Bond has been around since 62, 63. As far as the movies go, even a little bit further than that, back for the Playboy article, Playboy story, and the book, and the even the appearance of Casino Royale and him as Jimmy James Bond.
I hope they never ever do that again.
Oh, yeah, they won't. But it's like for them, it's like, okay, yes, it has a very long history, and that's fine. But it's like, dude, times change.
Exactly.
It's like you have to update it because a lot of the James Bond tropes, a lot of the James Bond caricature doesn't work in today's society. I mean, it's like basically when we get down to it, he's kind of a rapist in most of these films. Yes, women throw themselves at him, but a lot of women, like Pussy Galore, for example, in the book, she's written as a lesbian. She was supposed to show Pussy Galore. She was supposed to show resistance to him remember in the movie Goldfinger, he flips her, and then in her hand and just basically just mounts her basically. And it's just like. He was resisting. It's like, dude, that's assault. That's not like it's not like she threw herself.
Like this isn't cool. Yeah.
Right. So it's like people have to understand. It's like there's certain things that change and have to change, and that's one of the things. I mean, hey, if she's going to be a female James Bond, okay, cool, whatever.
Right. Hey, I want to say hello to Nelson Whitaker, who's just joining the show, obviously for the first time. He's over on Facebook. But I find it interesting, or maybe deliciously ironic, that probably the token of misogyny out there in genre entertainment, being that James Bond is replaced by a black woman. It's just there's delicious irony in that. There really is, because it's like, okay, you're going to have a guy who's been probably the most womanizing, manipulative dude who sleeps with countless women, never commits to them, leaves them. They usually end up dead being around him. And he's replaced by a woman, like who's like literally the antithesis of everything that James Bond has represented. And maybe there's some of that. There's some outrage about that at play as well. Because there's been the typical sexist comments that I've seen out there concerning Lashana Lynch playing 007 in this film, and me personally, I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it'd be a good take. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to replace him in the franchise moving forward, because I highly doubt that that's going to happen. But if it did, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't be a big deal. How about you? Would you care if James Bond was replaced by her or by any woman?
They replace it, it won't be James Bond, but they could keep the 007 thing going on. It'd just be a different 007, and it'd be kind of like you got Fast and the Furious series, and you got Hobbs and
Shaw.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw, and that's probably going to start to separate themselves, because pretty sure Hobbs and Shaw is going to make a shit ton of money, because what movie starring The Rock doesn't? And when it does, they're going to be like, oh, okay, now we're going to start a second franchise. And it's not going to say, oh, well, this is not part of the Fast and Furious. It's just a spinoff from it. And it's more than likely just going to be the adventures of another spy in MI6 with the title 007. I mean, she's not James Bond. So.
Even though Daniel Craig is the star of this film, the very mention of Lashana Lynch as 007, I have a feeling we're going to see Captain Marvel-like misogynist hate flung at this film. I can see it coming.
Definitely. I already see it myself.
Yeah, I can see it coming. Because it was just fine when, she was cast in being the film and she was in the background, and the assumption was that she's going to be the latest notch on James's belt or something like that. I mean, right?
Not such luck, fanboys.
Right. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, guys, let's move right along. We'll have to see. We'll keep tabs on this controversy as it unfolds and bring you up to speed if it happens. So the next topic I want to talk about is we all know that Comic-Con is this weekend. You guys looking forward to it? Comic-Con, 2019 in San Diego. We've got some of our Culture Junkie members, like Michelle Kisner is going to be out there, and there's another new member. His name escapes me right now, but he's actually going to be attending the convention for the first time in his life, and he's super excited. But and he was actually soliciting us for some advice, and I was telling him, I said, if you map out which panels you want to go to ahead of time, because you're going to need to wait a long time if you're going to want. I wanted to ask you guys. I sent you a list of the panels that are going to be going on at Comic-Con this year. Fallen Marvel. It's in the pre-show chat a little bit earlier. So take a look at the list, and I want to know from you guys what panels are you looking forward to this year. Nelson Whitaker, who's a new watcher of the show, says Star Trek Picard. He's looking. News pops up, and that's definitely going to be happening. There's going to be a Star Trek panel, and they're supposed to be showing Sir Patrick Stewart is supposed to be there, and they're supposed to be showing some footage from the Picard show. So I'm definitely looking about that. GQ, what are you looking forward to?
That's a good question. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be interesting. The Russo's panel will be interesting. What was that one we were talking about it in pre-show? Oh, it escapes me. Oh yeah, it's Batman Beyond 20th anniversary, which is all sorts of wrong because they didn't get anybody besides Bruce Timm of any true importance. It's like, come on, can I get a little bit of...
Will Friedle isn't even going to be there?
Nope.
What?
No Will Friedle, no Kevin Conroy. I'm like, no, no.
Okay, what's the
Andrea
point of having this
Romano,
panel now?
Right.
Come on.
It's like if you're gonna do anything related to any Batman animation, you have to at least have Kevin Conroy,
Yeah,
real Frito, obviously, because he was
he was Terry. Yeah.
he was Terry, and then for me, anything related to animation for DC side of things, you've got to find a way to coax Andrea Romano to come out and say a few words.
Oh yeah.
To make it official.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing with me in any comic convention: panels are like the least of my concern. I'm all about merch. So for me, I'm going to go to the dealer room and spend most of my time at those things because I want stuff that you can't find anywhere else. I want stuff that is going to have a lasting impression outside of, oh, I was in a room and such said something. That doesn't mean anything to me.
And you know damn well half of them people ain't showered or bathed because they've been waiting in line forever to get into the convention room. So it's like, come on. Nicholas Autry is like, they couldn't even get Frito. That's like PB&J without the bread. Like, exactly. Yeah. That's a very, very good analogy. Shinlo's joined the show. What's up, sir? Nicholas Autry also says he's looking forward to MCU Phase 4, the Marvel panel that's getting ready to come out. What about you, Dido? What are you looking forward to seeing at Comic-Con this week?
Mainly everything that's going to come from Marvel. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry. They have the most intriguing things for me, mainly because I want to know about Phase 4. I want to know about the future of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think next season's supposed to be the last one, is it? Yep. I want to know what new shows they're going to be showing supposedly on Disney streaming. Besides Mandalorian, which I heard that each episode cost them $15 million to make, which is ridiculous, and that's probably why we never really saw any Star Wars live action TV stuff before, is because it'd be super expensive. But those are basically what I'm looking for, and I hope there's some surprises because I looked at the note and not the note, the page of the stuff on here. I don't really care about the new Terminator. I'm so sorry. James Cameron is back producing it. I don't care because all the other freaking Terminators that came out, this one feels exactly like it. It feels like, except for it has a new story, which I don't even understand, but it feels like those other ones. And though I may watch it, more than likely will, because I haven't. It's not like I wasn't entertained by them, but nothing's going to top Terminator 2. That's not something I really want to look for. I look forward to. DC doesn't really have anything that I really look forward to. It's just they're talking about a lot of stuff that's coming back. I don't care about the stuff that's coming back. I want to know stuff about the new stuff that's coming out, stuff that's not out yet. So things like The Flash or Walking Dead or Supergirl, all this stuff, I don't care. I don't care. I want to know what's new. What can I look forward to? I'm not saying that those shows are bad, because they're not. It's just that they're already out, and we know a new season of them is coming. And I don't need to know the synopsis of what the new season is happening. I want to see new stuff. So there was not too much on the list that we looked at that was really showing much of anything at the moment. But I just hope Marvel, because I think they did that a few years ago, where they gave the list of all the movies that were supposed to be coming out, and only changes whereas the Inhumans and Spider-Man were not on there because they weren't. No, the Inhumans was on there. Spider-Man wasn't on there, and as you know, the Inhumans didn't come out, and they moved Black Panther around. And I hope they do something like that. I want to know, when is Doctor Strange 2 coming out? When is Thor 4? Scheduled to be released. Black Panther 2, that's the stuff that I'm looking forward to.
Well, you're going to be disappointed because there's not going to be any Star Wars stuff. They're holding all of that Disney Plus stuff for D23, which is coming out next month after.
And that's fine. That's fine.
So,
that's fine. That would have been overload to me.
Yeah, it probably would have been. I mean, honestly, I think I think the article even touched on this a little bit, that it wasn't this article, it was another article that I was reading, but that Disney and some of these other big companies that are pulling out and not really doing Comic-Con much anymore, it's allowed the streaming services or other genre entertainment production houses to kind of step forward and fill that void, because they don't necessarily need Comic-Con anymore. Like we're talking like Disney or Warner Brothers or anybody, like they don't really need Comic-Con because they have their own. Well, kind of Warner kind of does, but Disney definitely doesn't need Comic-Con. They don't need to be there. They've got D23 and a bunch of other things. They could skip it altogether and still retain all of the heat that it generates. But it allows like Amazon to come in, who's bringing The Boys, which comes out next week on Amazon Prime, and one that I'm very much looking forward to, because that was like one of Garth Ennis's best books, and it's starring Carl Urban and Elizabeth Shue as a hardcore take of look at a superhero type team, not hardcore like we're talking like DC's Titans, which kind of like was trying too hard. No, this is like, these are characters that are just like complete assholes, dude, and it's just great. It's really good. It's going to be a really good show, I think. There was another one. Actually, no. Farland Marvel, go ahead and you tell us what you're looking forward to from the Comic-Con panels this year.
I'm pretty much in the same boat with Dido. I mean, it's mostly just the Marvel stuff that I'm looking forward to seeing. What's going on Phase 4, what's going to be popping up on Disney Plus, and so forth, because they pretty much kind of just own the world right now, as far as that goes. And I'm just looking forward to see what's going on. Ironically, I am kind of looking forward to see what Warner Brothers does with DC, just to see like if they at least maybe announce something interesting, or if they just continue to shoot themselves in the foot like they've been doing. So I'm kind of waiting to see what they do. I know they're supposed to be previewing some more stuff that's coming on this the DC Universe service, which, I mean, honestly, I don't really care. I mean, it's just been a really rough stride for them when it comes to that service, because I mean, I pretty much lost all interest in watching Swamp Thing, knowing it got canceled after one episode. I don't really care too much about what they might be doing new for Titans. I mean, it might be interesting, but once again, the whole first season left a bad taste in my mouth, so it's just like, and then I don't really care about Stargirl. If they renew another season for Doom Patrol, that'd be nice. I still have to watch the first season. More than likely, they're probably going to show some more Batman-related stuff. I don't know. I mean, I just, it's kind of just more of the same, which is kind of weird to say, considering that Marvel is where they are. But like, granted, they give us different flavors of, like, from one entity. Like, you get so many different flavors, whereas like DC kind of been giving us the same thing more or less, and it's just, it's I don't know what to expect, but it's like, again, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, just to see if they fall flat on their face or they actually get like some momentum going. But other than that, let's see. That's pretty much it. Like, it's not really anything else I saw like there that's like really capturing my attention. So, right. That pretty much does it.
Man, I'm a little disappointed. I kind of thought you guys would be a little more into some of the panels that are non-Marvel related. Like, there's a Cobra Kai panel that's getting ready to come out. I'm super interested to find out.
But to find out about what? Oh yeah, we're gonna do another season, and then
they're gonna talk about the next season. So that one I look forward to.
That's what I'm saying.
Netflix is bringing The Witcher there, so I'm very much looking forward to that as well.
Here's the thing, though, and I think this is why that particular convention is losing some of its bigger players. Yes, Marvel did make a comeback, or is making a comeback, but this is all stuff that various websites, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the social media fills in all of these gaps for a lot of these companies for a hell of a lot less money. because it's like, okay, so you make a big, huge Hall H presentation. You got to fly all these various actors, producers, writers, blah, blah, blah out to wherever. Now, granted, some of them are probably already there because it's California, but you still have to block off all that time. You have to set up all this stuff. You have to do all this work for what could essentially be something that, hey, come over to our studio office. We're going to set up a quick little panel and then pre-record all this various stuff and put a little trailer or presentation out. Because again, yes, Cobra Kai would be cool just for a panel. I'm not going to really care until Cobra Kai season 3 is available on YouTube to watch. It doesn't. No matter what they say, it's not going to hype me up to the point of, oh man, I can't wait. It's like I'm already ready to see season 3. You don't have to tell me anything else to get me to want to see more season 3 because I already want to see it. And I think that's kind of the issue with a lot of this stuff. That's why, like I said, comic conventions for me are just merchandise opportunities. I don't really care about the announcements because the announcements are going to be leaked. Just like E3. E3's become kind of the same thing. The announcements are going to be leaked a couple of hours before they actually happen, or I'll be able to recap all of this stuff in 20 minutes. I don't need to necessarily be there and spend all that money to get there.
So you envision an opportunity, or not an opportunity. You envision a scenario where eventually, at some point, a lot of these comic book, like even San Diego itself, kind of reverts back to being less genre media driven and being more about the comic books and the merchandise back in like it used to be. Because I mean, you are right. You're absolutely right. I mean, social media definitely fills in the gaps and allows you to reach a lot more people a lot faster at a fraction of the cost. Yes, the trade-off is that you won't be in the room with the fans, and kind of like get them all rabid and super excited or anything like that. And of course, I mean, are you really missing anything if you don't do something like that?
The only thing Comic-Con had going for it, at least when I went, was, they have trailers for stuff that nobody's seen anywhere that they're going to show. And again, cell phones has basically negated that now. Because back then, cell phones wasn't a thing. I mean, they were, but I mean, as far as video and good quality, you weren't going to get much of anything out of them. Mm-hmm. But even like the hidden, gems trailers that they show, first showing up at Comic-Con or a special Comic-Con version of a particular trailer or a scene or whatever is also out the window because, again, cell phones has killed that. So it's all of their luster, all of their great, pull, for me at least, again, there's always going to be people that want to be there. They want to go, like the cosplay and all that other stuff. That's always gonna be there. But for me, it's like, been there, done that. I don't really care. Only thing I want is stuff that I can't get anywhere else, and that's usually dealer room related stuff.
No, I hear you. No, you're absolutely right. And I feel you on that. So, the other news that kind of came out this week, and there's probably going to be announced there. We can talk about, as you guys said, you're looking forward to the Marvel stuff. Let's talk about this. The announcement that Taika Waititi is doing Thor 4 and pushing Akira aside. So we'll leave the whole Akira conversation piece out of it. Excited, not excited for Taika Waititi to do Thor 4? What's your take, real fast?
I'm cool with it. I mean, honestly, I think.
Did he lose me or lose him?
Lost him. He got a little something stuck in his throat, and it's got him like really hemmed up real fast. I want to say, hey, what's up to Johnny P over on YouTube? Hey man, like that was the most pregnant pause I've ever seen. Dude, that's like that rivals Josh being stuck in the Matrix. Yeah, no, we can hear you. That rivals Josh being stuck in the Matrix, where he was like, "Yeah."
Like all this money I paid for internet, I should not be going through this. But anyway,
you were saying.
But what I was saying was, I think overall, as far as respective MCU franchises, like from the original ones, like Thor's, I think was like the one that needed more consistency, because if you think about it, with like especially like with the big three, which was essentially Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. Thor was like the only series so far that lacked consistency. So it's actually a nice to know that okay, you got someone like Watiti to be able to stay on and try to expand what he was able to essentially refresh, because he refreshed the franchise with Ragnarok. Like, as much as people try to harp on it being too funny, this, that, and the other, whatever. But the simple fact is that he refreshed the whole franchise to where it's like, okay, Thor's actually not a dull character anymore. So I'm honestly glad that he signed on for more films, because I actually look forward to see what he does next, because I mean, I had a blast with Ragnarok. So like, if they like start to explore that part of it, like that section of the world in the MCU, whatever, and introduce more godly figures and stuff and whatnot or whatever, I look forward to see what he does with that. So I'm good. I'm good with it.
All right. DQ, Dido?
I mean, Ragnarok made the most money out of all the 3 Thor films. So, I mean, obviously, you get the same guy to see if he can, capture that lightning in a bottle again. And now that Thor has undergone quite a physical transformation, and also who knows what the heck's going to go on with him being off with the Guardians, it could be really, really interesting what they do with it. So, I mean, I'm all for it. Again, it's... when they start making dud after dud after dud, then I will abandon Marvel. Until they do that, I'm on board. I'm on the ride, ready to go.
Well, they could literally put out anything and you be on board, huh?
I said they would have to start making dud after dud after dud. They haven't done that.
I mean, they've essentially pretty much have had success with everything they've put out, minus Inhumans. So. And in Humans, that just had like just bad production. So it's Scott Buck. Thanks for that.
I still haven't watched that. I still haven't watched Inhumans. I haven't watched a second of that thing. I haven't watched a second of it.
Here's the thing when it comes here, just really quick. Here's the thing with that show. The thing is that there was potential there. Like, the thing is, watching the series, I see what they were missing, but I also see the potential that was there. The only thing that was at least decent about it, I like the guy who played Black Bolt.
Anson Mount is great. I love him as Captain Pike in Discovery.
Right. So like, I thought he was good. Karnak wasn't bad, but could have been better. They could have used more Trident, because like he just was like absent for like 90% of the season. And I forget what Black Bolt's brother's name is.
Maximus.
Yeah, Maximus. They pretty much had his character on point, because he is a snidely little weasel, and they pretty
you can't tell me that casting wasn't perfect though.
It wasn't. It was.
Yeah, that casting was perfect.
Like, so that, and like I said, that aspect worked. Everything else was oof. So it's just, yeah, like Inhumans doing what they did with it was a hard pill to swallow, but I don't know. That's to me, like, that's like very few times where they left something, when they left production in incompetent hands. And ironically, it's the same. Ironically, it was in the same hands that was responsible for the first season of Iron Fist. It wasn't complete garbage, but it was close. It left a lot to be desired. Yeah. So it was like, again, it's one of those things you see potential in, but was just bad production. Just bad production all the way around.
All the way around. You're absolutely right. All right, guys. So let's move on from one list. Let's move on to another list, which is the main topic of the show. So B movies, we love them. despite knowing that maybe their quality wasn't necessarily always intended to be great. So IMDb put out a list of the top 100, B movies of all time. And, I let my friends here on the panel, they perused the entire list. I'm going to share the list with you guys in the chat. Please don't click on the link and go away from the show right now. Just do this after the show. But if you want to follow along and you're watching on computer, open up a new tab and still listen in. So anyway, I wanted to open it up. What is you guys' favorite movies off of the top 100 list? GQ, share you shared a lot of disappointment with the list. Why is that?
Because again, it's yes, these are B movies. Yes, these are unpopular films, but like the top 20 is like literally a bunch of garbage of the garbage. It's just like, you could at least put something in there that was, relatively interesting. I mean, like, for example, the list to me is flawed because you have Mortal Kombat Annihilation on there at number 51. And that movie wasn't a B movie. It had a wide theater release. Yes, it was a garbage film, but it sure as heck wasn't a B movie. So I mean, to me, if the list, and you also had Showdown in Little Tokyo. Yes, that movie wasn't the best movie, and it
that movie was awesome, dude.
But but at the same time, it's like, okay, but this movie wasn't a B movie. It's not like it was, the B, like, again, okay, let's break this down for people that don't know. A B movie is called a B movie because it's just like the B side of an album. They used to have these vinyl things that you put on a player that would play music called records. The B side of a single was like, for example, if the Jackson 5 release ABC, the B-side track would be another track from their album that wasn't maybe as popular, but damn it, putting it on the ABC, somebody's gonna listen to it if they flip over their record. So that was kind of the same idea with films that were B films, because usually they had double features. The drive-ins is where you obviously would and there is actually here in Michigan, there is still one functioning drive-in that's still operational year-round actually. But what they do is they show double features. So you get your whatever movie and then a second movie on top of that after the fact. The way drive-ins function now, there technically is no such thing as a B movie in that regard, because, for example, if you go see Avengers Endgame at the drive-in, I don't know why the hell you would do that. You're going to be at the drive-in for 5+ hours.
I know, right?
Let's say you go see Avengers Endgame. Obviously, that's the big draw for a lot of people. They're going to go see that. The second movie attached to that may actually be Captain Marvel, which obviously is out of order, but because Captain Marvel is a movie that had already been in theaters for a little while, very similar to the dollar show theaters and all that sort of thing. So B movies were usually those movies that just, they weren't going to cut it on their own. They weren't going to get a release unless they were the secondary film on a double feature ticket. By that criteria, a lot of those movies on that list, yes, they are B movies, but that list is still kind of garbage.
Garbage list. Right. So let's break down this first 20 that you're talking about. So I'll go backwards. I'll read it backwards, right? Okay. So starting at number 20. I wish Super Nerd was here because he'd actually be super happy to hear this. Number 20 is Chopping Mall from in 1986. As a group of young shopping mall employees stay behind late for a late night party in one of the stores, and the mall goes on lockdown before they can get out. The robot security system malfunctions and goes on a killing spree. Like that's literally B movie all over it, right? So number 19 is Moron Movies. Number 18 is Dead Alive.
Dead Alive was great. That was probably one of the best ones on there.
All right. Who was the director?
My man that did Lord of the Rings.
Peter Jackson. That's right.
Peter Jackson.
That's right.
The movie was amazing. I love Dead Alive.
Yep. All right. So number 17 is Enter the Ninja, a Golem Globus production. Number 16 is To Die Is Hard. Number 15, Dr. Goldfoot in the Bikini Machine, came out in 1965, so that should tell you something. Number 14 is Thanksgiving. A homicidal turkey axes off college kids during Thanksgiving break. Like, come on! Like, come on! Yes,
that was made 10 years ago. Oh,
yes, yes. Return of the Living Dead is number 13.
Another great. I like that movie.
Yeah. Number 59, the original House on Haunted Hill, is number 12. Number 11 is Plan 9 from Outer Space. Number 10 is a 1996 TV movie, She Woke Up Pregnant, about a sleazy dentist sexually assaulting his patient. Now, that's like literally ripped out of the headlines. Huh?
And that happened to that woman that's in a coma. She didn't wake up, though. She was in a coma.
Sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah. No. And that was based on probably some real life stuff, because that absolutely happened. Eolus Ferguson is watching the show. He's a new watcher. I want to say hello to him. He's asking, is Equilibrium a B movie? Hell no, it's not a B movie. Come on, man. No, it's not.
It had a theater release.
Yeah, man. It's not
there's a Thanksgiving 3, which means there's a 2.
Wait, was it a wide release for Equilibrium, though?
Yeah.
I think so.
I thought it was.
I remember seeing like commercials for it on TV. So like there was advertising for it.
Right. Okay. So all right. So continuing with the top 10, number 9 is 5 Element Ninjas. Number 8 is Miami Connection. And this was both of those are foreign films.
Looking like Hotline Miami.
I know, right? Yeah. Number 7, The Crippled Avengers, aka I think I heard that was Return of the 5 Deadly Venoms or something like that. I think that's what it was called. That was what it was also known as. Number 6, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Number 5 is Troll 2. Number 4, Samurai Cop. Number 3, Birdemic, Shock and Terror. It rated 1.8. It's got a 1.8 rating. Number 2 is Tommy Wiseau's The Room, which got a rousing 9 Metascore. 9.
People ironically get very much enjoyment from that movie. So.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And number 1 is Hard Ticket to Miami.
Hawaii.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Excuse me. Sorry.
I got a hard ticket to Hawaii.
You know what's funny is that Samurai Cop and High Ticket to Hawaii are both movies that I've only learned about within like the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And God, like, man, like those were like.
Wait a minute, is Hard Ticket to Hawaii the movie with that razor blade frisbee?
Is it? Is it really? Oh man.
The thing that I remember specifically from that movie was the one dude that I think it was like the guy that they hit on a skateboard and then they shot him midair with a bazooka. It was so just like, wow. But
yeah,
I mean, the only thing I will say about this list, because there's only like a few things that I remember watching.
Yes, it is the movie. It is the movie with the.
It is that movie. Oh my god!
It is the movie with the friggin' frisbee.
The razor blade frisbee. Holy cow!
It is.
Now,
oh my gosh!
My main disappointment with this movie is the fact that it did not have Jack Frost or Adventures in Dinosaur City on this list. I'm very disappointed with that.
Is Dinosaur City the one with Whoopi Goldberg?
No, that was I forgot what that one was called, but no, it ain't that one.
All right.
I know what you're talking about, but it ain't
so now that we know what the Hard Ticket to Hawaii is, that movie with the razor blade boomerang, we're gonna have to do a watch party.
Yes. Oh man, yes.
Clip. I'm like, what the heck?
I was like, oh my god!
Come on, let's catch.
Matter of fact, I think we might have to, like, y'all come over here and get Super Nerd involved in it, and we're gonna have to film that, because
oh my god, that's crazy.
Y'all might as well y'all might as well bring a copy of Dead Heat along with it. Which is another movie I didn't see on this list.
All right, so some of the other entries on the list, you know, that what were some of our favorites? Like, you know, going down the list, not too much further from the top 20. Number 23 is Black Samurai, which was Jim Kelly's big movie. That was after Black Belt Jones, I think. Robert Sand, Agent of Dragon. The acronym is great. Defense Reserve Agency, Guardian of Nations. It's great. Number 2.
I had to name him Robert Sand, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was like, they were just trying to hide the fact that it was like that's literally a resume name. That's what that is. That's his mom trying to
give him something that sounded catchy.
Nah, that's a resume name. That's literally like, look, man, you know you black, but we're gonna have to give you a name.
Hey, man, and you know this is straight blaxploitation, right? Because obviously Robert Sand's girlfriend, who he has to rescue, is a Chinese girl who happens to be Sand's girlfriend. Like, come on, like, ain't no Chinese girl trying to go for no. At least not in America. That's not happening. Number 24, The Toxic Avenger. An absolute classic.
Man, I saw that movie a lot earlier in my lifespan than I should have.
So check it out. You thought Robert Sand was a bad name, right? Number 25 is Brandon Lee's starring vehicle, Laser Mission, and he plays a character called Mercenary Gold.
Wow.
That was just wow.
Sent from the CIA to seize the laser expert.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Foxy Brown, number 26. The Rollerblade 7, Undefeatable, The Haunted Palace.
Okay, the log line on Foxy Brown is terrible. A voluptuous black woman takes a job as a high-class prostitute made of the written dreams and the monsters who murdered her boyfriend.
Yes.
Really?
Like, who wrote this? Like,
that reads like that reads like the back of a porno VHS.
It reads X-rated. But hold on.
Yeah.
Now, before we keep going, like, I have to talk about Undefeatable. Okay. Because this
Cynthia Rothrock,
this legendary Cynthia Rothrock.
The legend.
Okay. This movie here, to me, was like some of the funniest in like 90s action cinema, and it's because like the plot itself is like already terrible. But it's like when you kind of like watch the movie and see like some of the acting and like the fight, like somebody a long time ago actually made one of my favorite parody videos using it. They used the clip from the last fight scene in this movie, and they put Street Fighter Alpha and Fatal Fury sound effects in it during the fight, and it matched up so well. And it's it's like one of those things where it's like you have to see it to believe it. Like, as far as old action movies, it's like Cynthia is my girl, but I think like out of like most of her movies back then, this is probably the worst one. And that's saying a lot because I really like her. So, yeah,
that's saying a lot. So, like, let's keep going down the list. Like, here's an interesting one, right? FDR, American Badass. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, American Badass. I guess they're trying to do a riff on Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. I guess that's the reason why they did that one.
I don't know why you skipped over Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Did this come out? Let me see. Did Asylum Entertainment make this?
I didn't skip over it because I didn't reach it on the list yet. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet.
Let me look at this. I want to see if it's a. Damn, I can't see it because I'm not a member. Shit.
So Death Race 2000 was another one. That's a classic, B movie. Shark Attack, the Megalodon. Hey, didn't that just become a major motion picture? Starring Jason Statham. Yeah, The Meg.
I mean, yeah, but from what I remember with Shark Attack 3, like that movie had really atrocious acting and special effects, whereas this one has like passable acting with better special effects. So
yeah.
So yeah.
obviously number 41 and number 42 are some of our all-time favorites. Well, for different reasons, obviously. Number 41 being Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella. Like, say what you want about this film, and it was not a good film. Not at all. It was not a good film. But Frank Langella's Skeletor was epic. Oh, it was his Skeletor was something else. It was like the Skeletor we all wanted to have at some point, because it was like he wasn't like some buffoon or anything. Like, no, this dude was kind of menacing, and he had this Shakespearean authoritative voice. It was just awesome. It was incredible. It was like, and God bless Frank Langella, because he literally gave his all. Like, it didn't matter what part he was playing. He didn't matter, it didn't matter the, how high or how low the production was. He was going to give his 100% best at all times, and he showed it. It was great. It was great. And number 42 being Cyborg, which, I mean, a lot of people, I guess, maybe might consider one of Jean-Claude's better movies, maybe. It was the second movie. It was his second movie after Bloodsport, and then followed by Kickboxer, and then Death Warrant and Double Impact. But Cyborg, to me, Fender was like one of the coolest villains in B movie history, if we're going by anything, because dude, Fender had I
wouldn't argue that.
It's like he had the dreads, he had the eyes, the voice,
that growl,
dude. It was just great. It was like Fender was just awesome, dude, as a villain. It was great. So 43 is Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. 44 it came from beneath the sea. Ninja 3, The Domination, and number 46, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is something that Dido had pointed out earlier. But number 47, The Barbarians, right? The ludicrous.
I've never seen that one.
Okay, the lunacy of this film, like basically the beef, the Barbarian twins is what they used to call them back.
David and Peter Paul.
David and Peter Paul, basically, right? They were bodybuilders, and they were trying to, I guess, cash in on the Barbarian craze with Conan the Barbarian, and then Conan the Destroyer a couple of years later. So they get these guys, and they couldn't act worth shit. Like, there is obviously supposed to be a period piece, and they're supposed to be, in barbaric times, and they're speaking with heavy Jersey accents. It's just, it's just crazy, dude. It is absolutely crazy.
Oh boy, that's gosh, I remember those guys' movies, man.
Yeah. Chud is on here at number 54. And of course, one of my favorites, Showdown in Little Tokyo, which I defy anybody to tell me that movie is bad. Even though I know it's bad, I still love it. I don't care. It's like, if it's between this and Dolph Lundgren's I Come in Peace, I would watch this all day. Like, because I think the chemistry between Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee was so good. That's probably what made it, made it for me. And
any
of
movie,
course,
any movie with Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa playing a villain
is just about to say that. I was literally just about to say that.
Playing a villain is not bad in my opinion. Okay,
yeah,
it's
just about to say that.
It is impossible to be bad.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like no. Like, I would never say anything bad about that movie ever.
Okay, so number 58 is Master of the Flying Guillotine. Like, so a lot of these, a lot of the really poorly dubbed martial arts movies of the past, of the 70s, are on this list. But it's like, how could they not be on the list, Yeah,
arguably, yeah.
GQ, what else kind of sticks out to you on this list, even though it's mostly kind of garbage films? What else kind of sticks out to you on this list as movies that are like either just so ridiculous or just good? Like Leprechaun 3 is on here as a as a movie, and I know a lot of people kind of like that movie. I remember.
Was that the one he was in space?
Nope. Evil Leprechaun finds himself in Las Vegas, where he proceeds to cause mischief by killing people, granting twisted wishes, and infecting the young man with his green blood.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think the fourth one was the one that he was in space, and then you had the fifth one. He went to the hood, and then the sixth one he went back to the hood.
Leprechaun in the Hood. Yes. So.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the issue. I mean, like, okay, for example, we found Hard Ticket to Hawaii. We got to watch that. But, like, you got the Blob on there twice, because obviously there's the 1958 one, the 1988 one. Dolomite is on there. Sharknado, obviously. You know, again, now Sharknado was made to be a B movie. That was I'm fine with that. Unfortunately, they're not qualifying for it, even though they're technically made to be similar to B movies. Planet Terror and Death Proof would be good to put on this list, but you know, again, they got a theatrical release and they were, you know, heavily advertised. Blah blah blah. I would like to see the original Beastmaster put on this list.
Yeah.
Yes. That's clearly a B movie, but that movie was actually really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a classic B movie film. Now here's one that's on the list that's actually really interesting, and here's, you know, a little bit of a fun fact. So number 79 is The Beast from 20